Okay. Hello, you guys. Very excited to do this with you all tonight. I am so excited. I'm going to have Amber hop on with me. I see her right now on the gallery, but I wanted to pour into you guys first. And if you don't know me, I'm Olivia, and I'm one of your 40K leaders. And I'm excited to do this because it's out of my comfort zone, and nothing grows in your comfort zone, guys. And I decided to title this Persistence and Passion. So persistence and passion, those are two key things in your business. And we talk a lot about showing up, but persistence is when you show up when it's hard. Persistence is, when in the hard seasons, when things aren't going the way you want them to go, or it's you feel defeated and things aren't going your way, or whatever it may be. Despite it being hard, you are showing up no matter what. Family, job, relationships, whatever it is, you're still showing up, even if things aren't going the way you want it to.
If you don't put this,
oh my goodness, this guy. So yeah, I see you, love. I see you. Okay. And when you think about this business, and when you think about leadership, and when you think about the team that you want, are you thinking about showing up? Who is that leader that you want to be, right? When it's difficult, right? When it's hard, how do you want to be off social media? How do you want to be when you're not in front of the camera, or when you're not making content? Like, what does that integrity look like? Who is that leader? So, it does not mean to ignore your emotions. It does not mean to ignore what you're feeling, but what it means is to grow, right? To look at the area that you may be struggling in, or that doesn't feel good, and you're like, well, what can I learn right here, right now, right? You guys, I understand, I said this earlier, that network marketing isn't for everyone, and I know that you have to have tough skin. You have to be mentally strong. And I had a lot of people walk away in the beginning of my business. I just celebrated 2 years with Thrive, and there were seasons where I felt like this business wasn't going to go anywhere, but I continued to persist, right? I continued to be persistent, and I encourage you to look at those hardships as a place to grow, right? And look at what you're consuming every day, and do those things. So I will let Amber introduce herself a little bit and talk, and we're going to go back and forth. I'm going to let her unmute herself. There's a lot of people who are unmuted. Make sure you're unmuted, please.
I think I am. Am I? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm so nervous, y'all. This is different than like a live. Hi, my name is Amber. I'm a 4K leader with LaBelle. So I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I'm a mom of 4. And so I help my husband run our other business. He has a business that we run. And I got caught up in, I don't know, I guess I just I did. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You're a little in and out.
On the kitchen dog food. Let's do it again and again and again.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
But I was really I didn't have a purpose. I felt like I didn't have a purpose. And so I came across these 3 steps, and I was watching somebody, and I seen this transformation in her, and I was like, man, I want that. Right. So when I started shaking. I remember I hit the promoter button, absolutely scared. And I was like, I don't know if this is going to go. Within 11 days, I hit the VIP 800 bonus. And then in 36 days, I hit 4K. But guys, the last 2 months of my journey, I've been in this since March. I have genuinely struggled to maintain 4K, right? So, but I have still shown up in every season of my business. And although I've only been in this since March, I've realized that I built really fast. And then I came to this point where I was like, man, this is hard, right? Like, don't fall for the hype that this is easy or that this is a fast track to success. Like, no, like this, I have learned that this stuff comes with some grit. It comes with faith. It comes with persistence, persistent in your passion for what you are doing, right? Like my favorite thing about what we do is to watch another woman come in and be so defeated in her life and be so like, I'm not confident, and watch that like light bulb come off, like go off in her. And she's like, oh, I can do this, right? Like I can be successful. And that is my favorite thing about this business. But it hasn't always been easy. Like there were months where people walked away from my team. There were months where nobody showed up, nobody did anything. And the one thing I've learned through this whole thing is that I can be my own front runner and I can be my own hype girl, right? Like I hype myself up on a daily. If I post a reel, nobody else might like it, but I'm be like, yeah, girl, go. Like that's you, you know? And that for me has kept me going, is that it doesn't matter what Sam, Sue, and Sally are doing. It doesn't matter that their businesses took off in a different way. My business took off the way God saw fit for it to take off. And I went through the storms that I was supposed to go through, and I didn't give up, right? Because everything that I ever want is on the other side of persistence. If I'm persistent and I'm confident in what I'm doing and where I'm going and the vehicle I chose to get into to get there, then nothing else matters. And that's kind of my story. This month has been my highest volume month because I didn't give up, right? I didn't give up. I asked for help when I needed it. And I just stayed persistent in what I wanted to accomplish. And it has paid off. My team is flourishing. My girls are flourishing. I am growing. And that's what it's about, is growing and knowing that you can get through any season you go through. Even if you feel like you're barely making it, if you grew and you became better today than you were yesterday, you're on the right track.
Absolutely. Like I wanted to bounce off that real quick and talk about
Funny, for Halloween, they had a red balloon.
talk about leadership a little bit, because when I think of persistence and passion, Amber is the first one that comes to mind, and I wanted to have her on so she could share a little bit and talk about, you know, the leader she's developed just in the months that she's been here this past year. And we have to show women what's possible, right? Or men, we have to show people like what it takes to be successful in the industry. And if we haven't went through hard seasons, it's almost like it was not sustainable, right? So you have to endure pain and hardships in this business for you to carry other people through that. And that's why I always say, when there's a hard season, you have to see where you need to grow and what can you do better next time, or where can you shift, right? There's always a pivotal moment in every 3 months in this business, I say. And like I don't want to be the same place now by October of this year, right? Like I want to continue to build that residual, to build those leaders that are pushing, that are hungry, right? That want to be here and be successful. And that's why I say that, you know, the most influential people, guys, there's a book that I wanted to show you all that I got from the airport. And it talks about like Thomas Edison, or some of the presidents even did not have an education. They had small beginnings. These really large people that made a difference in this world didn't go to school and go to college and graduate. Like they had to steward, they had to go through the trenches. And that's why it's so important to share the vulnerability part of your story and show people like, okay, I am made for more, and so are you, right? This is what I'm learning, this is what I'm growing through, and put that into action. So we are in the business, you guys, of helping people, right? We're here to be our inspiration by our own story and have our story impact other people, right? Like we have to impact, we have to be bold, right? And a lot of that comes with stewardship. It comes with being in those hard seasons. So we have to,
like the orange cones in the street.
like I said this on my training this past Sunday, like I always felt like I had to fix something in my team, right? Always felt like there was something going
That's
wrong,
funny.
or if there was an issue, I had to be there all the time, and I had to make sure, whatever. So I learned that when no matter what your team is doing or what your upline is doing, you have to be your runner. You have to be your inspiration. And that's where you have to pull from yourself. Like, you're not going to wake up a 4K. You're not going to wake up a 12K. You have to pull that inspiration out of you and share that with other people. So I wanted you, Amber, to go into a little bit of detail about 4K, your 4K journey. Hang on, Shiv. And how that helped you, and or like how that shifted in your business. Like, what was that mindset that you had when you went 4K, and what kind of transpired before then? Because I think that would be good.
Okay, so I've never shared this before, so thank you for letting me get vulnerable because it's helping me grow. But guys, when I came in, like, I remember I asked my husband to borrow the money to invest in my business, right? And he was like, you're going to lose it. You're going to lose that money. And I was so determined to prove him wrong that I think that determination, I know that sounds bad, but I was so determined to show him that, like, I can do this, that drove me for the first couple months, right? So that determination alone got me to 4K, right? That I can do this, watch me do it. Like, I'm that type of person that if you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to be like, watch me, right? So that drove me. But then once I hit 4K, like, I went through this season where people were leaving my team. People weren't happy. There were, my paychecks went down. So I knew my team's paychecks went down. And I really had to come to grips with, like, okay, what type of leader do I want to be? What type of person do I want to show up as, right? Like, it is cool and great that you can make it to 4K, but are you able to duplicate that? And if you're not able to duplicate that, then what are you really doing, right? So I say that the day I really became a 4K leader was a week ago, when my team hit, surpassed 4K by ourselves on our own. And that is the day I really became a 4K leader, right? Like, that is the day that I stepped into, okay, I can do this. I've done it once. I could do it again and again and again. So getting to 4K, though, I had this excitement. Like, I just had this excitement and this passion about what this opportunity was going to do for me and my family. And I drove that home with my audience. I drove that in. And during the hard seasons, though, I watched that passion, like, kind of dwindle a little bit, right? Because I could show up and act like I'm passionate, but my audience is going to know that I'm really not, right? So,
Hey, Amber,
yes.
I'm just going to interrupt real quick. Can you all please mute your mics? Because it's really hard to hear her. Thank you.
I'm looking for the settings, guys. I'll figure it out. Go ahead.
Sorry. But, like, as I grew, I hit 4K really fast because I had a passion and I had determination that I was going to do it right. And I showed, because I had that determination and that passion, I showed up like that, right? And people saw that. And then when I went through that season where I was struggling, my team was struggling, people saw that, right? Like, it's not enough to say you have passion, but do you show up with passion? Do you wake up every day and have a why? Not why you're doing this overall, but do you have a why for why you're getting up today and doing this? What is your why? Is it to impact somebody else? Is it because you want to be better today than you were yesterday? Like, what is that why for the day? And I had to really step back because until I was able to do that, I really wasn't a 4K leader, right? I hear a lot of people talk about how you could be a really good, like, a well-paid 4K leader. And I didn't see that, though, until this month, right? Like, I was barely maintaining. I was struggling. I was ready to throw in the towel some months. That's why I say I really truly believe the day I became a 4K leader, it was last week, because something in me shifted. Something in me was like, okay, I got through that season and I got through it in one piece and in a better place. And I know what I have my hands on. And even if you're going through a bad season or a rough season, you still can show up with that passion that in 3 months from now, your business can completely transform. Like it does not have to stay the same today. But if you stop, if you give up when it's hard, you miss the part where you grow. Because I will tell you, I I built really fast, but I didn't grow until this month. And that's just me being honest. I'm grateful for those hard seasons. I'm grateful that I had to fall flat on my face because that's where I grew. So if you give up when it's hard, you are missing your breakthrough because it's right on the other side of you showing up, you being persistent, you saying, no matter what everybody's doing around me, I'm going to show up like the leader I want to become.
That was so good, Amber. Yeah, like just what you said, like, and we hear this a lot, that your rank doesn't determine your income and it doesn't determine your success. Like success to me is leading these Zooms. Success to me is having a team that I can pour into and connect with and help and lead, even if it's one person, right? You can define your own success by what your mindset looks like, how you're pouring into yourself daily, and what your personal development is, guys, because personal development for me has been, it's the key in our business, because if we decide to remain in the same exact spot we are in, we're not going to get anywhere in our business. We have to grow and change. Change is a good thing. Most people don't like change. Change is where you're going to grow. Change is where you're just going to have that new mindset. You want to look forward to the team that you're going to grow, the people you're going to be able to pour into. So there were several months, guys, that, you know, I didn't even secure product credit for my business, but I still had that vision. And that's why we speak so boldly about that. So does your audience know the vision you have? Have you talked about what it is you're working towards in your business, even if it might be gas money or grocery money? Because that's what I did. I talked about coming off government assistance. I talked about how I was going to move out into my own apartment, right? I talked about being a single mom and all those things that I had passion about. Guys, where is your passion lie? Think of something that you feel passionate about and get familiar with that feeling of being on fire for your business, because this isn't supposed to be a job, right, guys? Our business is a job, yes, but it's supposed to be where you're fulfilled and where it's fun and where it's joyful. Not every season is going to be great, but for me, when I have hard days, I look at it as a place where I need to grow. I look at it as, okay, what do I need to learn from this moment? What is God telling me that I need to work on? Right. So I did want to touch on this book, you guys, and tell you that it's just a crap show over here. But this book, I'm sure some of you guys have read it. I posted about it in the team page. And guys, our product line and our comp plan is so powerful because no other network marketing has what we have. None, no other company. And that sells itself. But what makes you different? What makes your leadership? Why would somebody want to link arms with you? Why would somebody want to trust you and be impacted by your story if that's not something you're focused on when you're sharing content, sharing that vision, right? Jason went through so many failures. He went through so many network marketing companies, and he had to go through these times, but he learned something from every company he was with, and he applied that to his business when he made Lavelle with Paul. Like, they both talked about what they wanted and what they didn't want, because they learned what they did not want in a company, because they experienced what they didn't like, right? They've been a distributor, right, for other companies. They've been promoters just like we are. They've been at the bottom in the trenches, and we get to serve people from a completely set apart platform with our cloud-based technology, from our unmatched products that's where your passion has to come from, your product testimony, right? The woman you're becoming, and look forward to that. Because when I wake up in the morning, I think about that 200K leader, that 200K mindset, those characteristics. Who do I want? What does she look like, right? What does her mindset tell her? How does she talk to herself? What is her faith like? I have to really think about that, and it gets me in alignment with where I'm going. So I want to ask you, Amber, when those, you kind of touched on this, but with your husband letting you borrow the money and your girls walking away, you had some seasons you had to go through. When you went through some promoters walking away, or when you went through those hard times, did you you said you thought about leaving several times. What made you stay? And what would you tell somebody who feels stuck in their business, who's running for that 4K bonus? I don't know if she heard me.
There you go. Okay, now it's letting it wouldn't let me unmute myself. So when my team was pretty much crumbling, what made me stay was the fact that I knew I could do it, right? Like, I did it once, and I knew that I could do it again. And I knew that I'm the type of person that I love, I love a challenge. Like, I absolutely love to be challenged because it makes me grow and it gets me outside of myself, right? Like, I love being challenged. It's not always fun, but it's that determination that I'm like, oh, I'm going to get through this, watch, And so when I was thinking about leaving, what made me stay was the fact that I knew what that $4,000 bonus did for my family, right? Like, I watched my husband literally take on every single utility bill, every bill we ever had on his shoulders. I'm probably going to get emotional. And I really wanted to take that off of him. I wanted to help control. I was like, no, I can do this, right? And I had leaders in my life that were like, Amber, you can do this. Like, come on, like, get up, wipe your face, fix your crown, let's go. I had leaders that poured into me daily. I had leaders that didn't let me sit in my self-pity. I had leaders that didn't let me sit in a negative mindset. And what made me stay is because I wanted to be that leader that was given to me, right? That leader that came into my life and that completely grabbed me and transformed my life because they believed in me when I didn't believe in myself, and they helped me when I couldn't even help myself. And I wanted to be that for somebody else. So that is what kept me, and that is what made me stay. On the flip side of that, what I would tell somebody that was struggling is that there is a future you, and I'm sorry if I get emotional, because I literally went through this month. There's a future you that is waiting on you. There's a future you that is waiting on you to step into who you want to be, or they're waiting on you to step into her. She's already made, God's already got that plan, sis. Like, you already have the tools, and the person that you're going to become, God already has that set up for you, right? Like, he already has that. It's already in the bag. He's waiting on you to step into that person. He's waiting on you to step into how helpful are you being? Are you giving back to your audience? Are you giving back to your team? Are you sharing parts of you and being vulnerable, even the parts that are not so great? Like, if you're struggling to hit 4K, hold on, pain ends, right? Like, I don't know a story at all, any story that jerks at your heart that ever went through, yep, I made it to 200K and I did it easy. That does not happen. That does not happen. The stories that people want to follow and the people that they want to be like are the people that go through the trenches and that know how to say, I've been there, sis, let me get in there with you and help you out because I know a way out, right? Like, that is what I would say to somebody who feels stuck, because stuck is a mindset. Stuck is a mindset. If you are not changing your mindset to, can I get promoters? People are not objects. You cannot get promoters, right? Like you cannot get people, but you can impact a person. You can impact a person's life with an opportunity. You can impact them with a weekly paycheck and bonuses that are life changing, but you cannot get anybody. And I think when your mindset shifts from what can I get to what can I give, your whole business transforms. It transforms. I know because I just went through it, right? Like, it's all about a mindset. You are only as stuck as you allow yourself to be. And I hate the word stuck because there's always something you can do to unstuck yourself. Get in a podcast, reach out. Like your leader is not the only person that can pour into you. You know, they have a leader and then they have a leader and then they have a leader. So you can reach up and don't be scared to reach up, because I might get a whole lot from my leader, but then somebody else may say something in a different way that just clicks. Has nothing to do with the leadership part. It has everything to do with perspective. Where's your perspective at? Is your business are you just in this business for you? Because if you're in this business for you, you're going to fall flat on your face, because we are in a people business. We are not, yeah, we do sales, but people buy you before they ever buy Thrive. So if you don't know who you are and you don't know what your values are and what you stand on, your team will crumble because they have nothing to stand on with you. And that is, for me, like, been the biggest thing, is for me to stand on principles and stand on values that are unshakable, because people can follow that. They can follow consistency. It's when you're not consistent, they can't follow you. So that's what I would tell the person that is quote unquote stuck, is grow your mindset, change your mindset, and just know that there is a woman waiting on you to be her. Be her. Be that woman that's waiting on you. And don't lose sight of what you said yes for. And know that it's not going to be easy, but it is going to be worth it.
Okay, so I just about cried like 3 times listening to that, got emotional. That was so good, Amber. Just your growth, it's amazing. Yeah, so something I heard today, I was listening to an interview with Mike Todd and the Life Church pastor, Craig, I can't ever say his last name, starts with G, but it was talking about influencer or influence versus fame. And influence is basically, it's leaving an impact on someone's life and influencing their opinions for them to start moving differently for their life and changing their perspective, changing their mindset, and having that impact on them. Versus fame is just being wildly known. You're just being known. You want people to see you and know that you're making moves and you've got money, right? So the influence part comes into leadership. You have to make this about other people and other people's families and other people's children and husbands and generations to come, because that's where legacy is built, is by other people's lives that you are changing because you paved the way first, right? We are creating a path for people here. So when you have that foundation, like Amber was talking about, you know your values, you know what you believe in, and you share that, and you know who you are, that confidence creeps in and your conversations get better and you start making that impact, you're going to be a firecracker. And that's where it starts, is being creative, creating that path. Even if there's an obstacle, even if there's a problem, you solve it and you keep going, right? So no matter how many no's you get this next week, no matter who leaves you on read, no matter who doesn't pay for their products, whatever, you're here to leave an impact on people. Keep that in the forefront. So I love you guys, and I'm going to stop recording.